All right, what's up? Thanks for those that are here. Um, Thanks for taking time away from Tears of the Kingdom. I know probably not gonna get a ton of viewers. It's Wednesday. It's like Sunday to me because I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off from work, and man, I'm seeing a lag on my audio and my video on OBS. I don't know if that's coming through. Let me check the stream. Not that it's that big a deal. And man, I'm seeing a lag. It's not too bad. Anyway, what's up, Zoltar? Let's see. Got a few people here. I don't expect a ton, but if you're here, feel free to drop me a comment. I'm not gonna do any spoiler stuff. I'm gonna be very vague. Um, Retro Death probably won't watch this, so I don't got to worry about being ultra sensitive. But I'm not gonna like detail boss fights or describe temples or anything like that. I'm gonna talk about some things I've experienced and give you my progress on the game, my thoughts from the game to the visuals, the music, all that. So let me just start with some technical stuff. So I've booted up the game initially on my 65-inch OLED TV and did the opening um, Sky Island. What is it? The Great Sky Island, and then landed on Hyrule. And then I did a few things, and I saved, and then I played it in handheld on the Switch OLED, and I turned it on at about 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. And I was like, I'll just play for a little bit more. There's a couple of things I wanted to go check out. Yeah, he does. I ended up playing till 1:30 in the morning. On laying in bed, and I was just like, oh my god! And then the next day, I was like, let me hook this up in the theater room. So I put it on what would be the equivalent of a 92-inch 16 by 9 screen with my JVC 4K projector, and I was actually pretty impressed with how good it looked. My old projector looked great for movies, but it just didn't. Games just lacked visual pop. And I was impressed on that. And then I played more handheld, and then I finally hooked it back up to the 65-inch OLED yesterday, and I played, I want to say, close to 11 hours like that. So I feel I have a good indication or a good feeling on the visuals of this game compared to Breath of the Wild, compared to other Switch games. And yeah, as old tire, Retro Death takes whole no spoilers to a whole new level for sure. I mean, these guys said something about spoilers after I just said it it keeps all your horses from your Breath of the Wild save file. Like, that's not a spoiler. I mean, that's just something. That's just something that's in the game. If you had horses, they'll be in your stable. Somebody might have only registered one new horse because it gives you one extra slot, and never checked the stables. They might never have known that. I don't consider that a spoiler on any level. So yeah, you never know though. But yeah, so as far as visuals, I gotta say, obviously it's using the same engine, same art style. I don't think it's really just from a technical looking at resolution, draw distance, shadow detail, anti-aliasing or lack thereof, jaggies, all that. I feel like maybe 5% improvement, just for the as far as overall image clarity. And like I said, none of the. I feel like there's a little more popping with like in the underground and stuff. But it's hard to compare the new areas. But I'm just talking about like for like spots. The cloud system looks great and stuff, but honestly, I don't see much of a difference between the two from a graphical technical standpoint. Obviously, like I said, art style is the same. It's a great looking game. I love how it looks. I feel like the biggest thing would be just the draw distance when you're up in the sky. Like I could see a Gleelock like from the highest, one of the higher islands, and looking down. I was like, holy crap! I can see it flying around down there. It's not, and it's not at 5 frames per second. Like that's crazy. So there's some still. Oh, you didn't even start. Still finish up your 100% run. I don't know, man. I just, unless you're just dead set on that, Tears of the Kingdom feels so different. But at the same time, I wouldn't. If you're just like trying to collect Korok seeds, if you already have like 120 shrines and all the gear and stuff, I mean they feel very different. I don't know. I don't know what I would suggest there, but anyway, just graphically, I don't think it's noticeably improved. Other than like as far as the raw image you're seeing on the screen, yeah, I think there's further draw distance. Um, there's a lot more masses in the stuff in the sky, stuff on the ground, and like I said, you can see things further away. But I don't think there's any like immediate like, oh my god, this looks like a built from the ground up Switch game compared to Breath of Wild. I mean, there's to me they're so close, and I have 315 hours of Breath of Wild on Switch and about 25-30 hours of Tears of the Kingdom. So that's just that. I mean, I love the game. I love how it looks. I'm just saying, for me and RetroDesk debate from like 4, 5, 6 years ago about a built from the ground up Zelda game would just blow away Breath of Wild. I said back then Breath of Wild was pushing the Switch to its limits. From a raw visual fidelity, I think it is. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom's got more stuff on screen, more draw distance, but it doesn't look like much has changed. Same with like God of War on PS5. I mean, it's not like a massive improvement over God of War 2018, and it's and that was PS4 to PS5. So with that out of the way, I'm gonna give you some stats of where I am. So I have 46 shrines, 58 Korok seeds, 17 light roots lit up in the depths. I found 7 wells, and I've done the memories for 5 of the geoglyphs. So decent amount of progress. I also have, I think it's 8 of the towers on Hyrule. I don't know how many total there are, but I have 8 of those. So yeah, I've done quite a bit. Did one temple. I won't say what, where, when. Yeah, it's bigger, but I mean, just what's on screen at any given point. I think there's just more draw distance, but I don't think there's any visual like fidelity or anything improvements. Very very minuscule, I would say. But anyway, yeah, I did one temple with a boss fight and spent a lot of time underground. And so I would say the weird thing is, and tell me if you guys have different experience. I'm gonna guess about 80% of my time in Hyrule, on the ground, in the caves or on the grass or climbing. Um, I'd say about 12% of my playtime was in the depths, and maybe 8%, which could be even lower than that, in the Sky Islands. Now that was shocking because all the promotion, basically everybody's predictions were that the Sky Islands were the new thing. That's where the new exploration was going to be, and it's simply not the case. That's not even a subjective opinion. That's just factual objective. There's a repeating pattern for every area, and what do they call them? Archipelago, something like that. You get in the sky. There's a shrine quest where you have to find a gem, bring it back to activate the shrine. You have one of the machines that gives you the items that you can call upon for crafting, and then it has a thing that shoots, that you can move. And then there's also like a flower shaped island in every region. So basically every main region has a similar Sky Island region, but there's still cool stuff to do. Don't get me wrong. It's doing those shrine quest, gem quests is still really fun. Yeah, I don't honestly, and I'm one thing I'm doing minimal fast travel, so on the ground I've only fast traveled a couple times, and it was for like, oh, I know I completed this quest. It's on the other side of Hyrule, and I know I'm just gonna go there, do some quick dialogue. They're gonna give me a prize, and then I want to get back to what I'm doing. Yeah, I could just wait till I ended up at that stable again, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fast travel. So I did that maybe two, three times. I at first I couldn't figure out how to get out of the depths, so I had to fast travel back up to the shrine next to where I went down. Later on, I found places where you can use the ascend, and then I fast traveled up to the Skyland a few times just because I couldn't get back to the starting area, and I knew there was a couple Korok seeds I missed. So minimal fast travel. I have the HUD on pro mode since the start. I love it. I love having that clean HUD. And then I've been riding my horses like crazy. I'd say my 80% on Hyro. I feel like 75% of that is on horseback, maybe 70%. I love how they've changed the landscape so you don't have to get off your horse to climb most of the time, which is really cool. So yeah, there's my update on my current progress. I will say already, this game has topped Breath of the Wild when it comes to exploration, when it comes to rewards for your exploration, having everywhere you go having something actually significant, worthwhile. Not always, but I feel more often it's worth your while to do stuff. I found some really high powered weapons up in the sky. I found some really cool gear in the depths. Um, whether it's Korok seed, whether it's new clothing, whether it's the what are they called, Glee Blues or whatever to give to the dude. There's just always something to find. The wells are cool. The cave systems, not as in depth as some of the reviewers made it out to sound, but still, there's always something to do, always something to find, and I just can't believe how much they've improved upon the exploration and sense of discovery over Breath of the Wild. I didn't even think that was possible, and they crushed it. It's just amazing to me. And how does the landscape look so different? I'm continually lost, turned around. I have no idea where I am, which seems crazy because we all just assumed that Hyrule would be like unchanged. That was the big assumption. I'm like chasing down or found the shrine, and then I'm like turned around, like that's the entrance to Kakariko Village. What the hell? Like I'm not even by Dueling Peaks, am I? And I'm like, look, I'm like, where's Hateno Fort and all that? Like, I haven't really explored a ton of like the places in the south yet. I haven't gone to Akala, so I haven't done any of the East Coast. No Zoro's Domain, no Akila, Hateno, none of the southern. I haven't gone even to the Great Plateau yet. Haven't even gone to the north side of the plateau. I've done everything north. It just feels weird. Um, Well, and sometimes I mean the chest doesn't give you 5 arrows, but arrows are always appreciated. I just feel like I don't know. It just feels like there's some kind of reward, whether it's a new sword or a new thing to fuse. Oh, this is a black. What are those? The underground ones called Horde Toblin, something like that. I got a new horn. Oh, that makes a really powerful weapon, like stuff like that. It's crazy. I'm just absolutely loving it. Um, but I just can't believe how much Hyrule has changed. So, like I was saying, I haven't gone south of the uh, Great Plateau. I haven't gone to the desert. I did the Rito village. That's the temple I did. Um, Went north a little bit into the snow. It feels like they're cheating. It almost feels like the map's smaller but looks the same. Because next thing I know, I wasn't really even. I mean, yeah, it shot up the tower and I glided somewhere. But next thing I know, I'm at the shield surfing lodge, and I'm like, I'm not that far into the Hebrew Mountains. Like, I don't feel like. I feel like they've tricked us in that it's actually condensed, smaller than it was in the original game. I don't know if that's been proven true or false. I haven't seen anything, but that's my theory. because it's like playing like Pilot Wing 64 where you went from like New York to Chicago and it was like it was so close together, or in the Crew 2, a Ubisoft racing game, it's supposed to be cross country, and I'm like, you go from Chicago to like, I don't even know if it had Denver, like Las Vegas in like 20 minutes. It was just like condensed. It looked similar in shape, but it was condensed, and I kind of feel like they did that with this game. So 10 million sold in 3 days. That is, I think somebody said that's the best ever. I don't know if that beat Pokemon, either of the Pokemons, but that is a new, like, this is like on a whole new stratosphere for Nintendo. The best selling game before Breath of the Wild was Twilight Princess on Wii at 9 point something million, and then I don't know, the GameCube version was like a million, and the Wii U HD version was like a million. But even still, 10 million in 3 days for a Zelda game, like that's like Fire Emblem Awakening coming out, having a come out party. This is like Zelda having a coming out party. Like, I'm seeing Twitch streamers, like I said, one that was rushing through. She seems to be really enjoying Tears of the Kingdom more than Breath of the Wild. You got tons of people playing it. You got tons of tweets about things people have created already. This game is just blowing up, man. This is like Elden Ring sales. I didn't think it was going to be quite like that. Because of the $7 price tag, the age of the Switch, I was just like, it still might only do half. I mean, technically, I guess it probably, there's no way it will only do half of Breath of the Wild, but I never thought it would live up or reach Breath of the Wild's sales. I don't know, with this start, it's possible. And it's like critically acclaimed. I think it has a 96 on Metacritic. I predicted 94. Robert said 90. I was going to say 95. I don't know why I didn't, but either way, nobody guessed 96. So it's just an amazing game. Let me go through just a couple like slight disappointments or bummers. First off, they reuse the same music for a lot of things, and that, to me, I can see why you would that they would think that, but at the same time, I don't need the same piano music when I'm riding my horse. I have 300, 400 hours of Breath of the Wild between PC and Switch. Give me a remix. Give me something new. I already started Truzy. I said the graphics to me don't look visually on screen. What you're seeing isn't maybe 5% cleaner or sharper than Breath of the Wild. There's more stuff on screen. There's more in the distance, but other than that, it's not much of a change. Shit, now I lost train of thought. What was I talking about? Somebody was talking about sales. I was talking about scores and sales. What the hell? I know where I wanted to go, but I was in the middle of something, and then I read that comment. Somebody remind me where I was. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to move on because I hate. Yeah, I was talking about the Metacritic. No one predicted the score. I'll just say what I was gonna say is that anybody that gave this game under a 9, I feel is a clickbait. Now that I played the game, all those 8s. That 6, of course, was a clickbait, but how the hell is this an 8 out of 10? Like, what game did you play? Like, I'm sorry, you're like, oh, 8 out of 10, that's a good score. No. That's somebody who either just didn't oh, I got to get this review done. What's up, Jay? I got to get this review done. Let me just hit all the markers on the map as quickly as I can and get the end credits and give it a score. That's, in my mind, that's the only way you give it an 8 out of 10. There's just no way. Like, to me, that's insulting. Like, honestly, I'm just gonna say right now, this has already topped Breath of the Wild. At the same time frame, Breath of the Wild was mind blowing with all the new stuff. This has a lot of new stuff. and also revisits stuff. Oh, I was talking about the music. That's what I was talking about. All right, I'm gonna go back to that. I'll get back to the reviews in a second. So yeah, I was talking about the few minor things. So the music. You can't give me a remix while I'm riding my horse or a new piece of music. The Hinox when they attack, same. I've always disliked that music. Um, you know, there is some new tracks in there, but I don't need. It's more my fault for playing Breath of the Wild for 400 hours, but I was a little bit disappointed hearing the exact same tracks. It's like, come on, just give me a remix for the horse riding. Give me a remix of the Hinox, something. So that's a little bit of a bummer for me. The other bummer is having to select the item for your arrow every time. It's just stupid. Just let me craft 50 arrows with bright bulbs on them for when I'm in the underground. Let me craft 10 bomb arrows, 10 fire arrows. It's a dumb system. I don't know what they were thinking. Because I already have like 100 items. And if I want to find a different one, I just got to scroll. And my eyes bug out. It's a stupid system. Just let me pre-craft. Say I want to craft 10 of these arrows. I have the stuff. That's something I would hope that they would consider patching later on. It just, no one's attaching meat to the arrow. It doesn't do anything. There's other items that do nothing. Just let me have bomb arrows, fire arrows, ice arrows, shock arrows, light arrows. That's the one. That's probably my biggest complaint. It's not a big complaint, but if out of everything, that's something I really hope they address. Other than that, the game makes me play too long and my hands and back hurt. I can't think of any other complaints. Yeah, pre-fuse arrows. Just let me make 100 light bulb arrows. Bright bulb arrows. Let me make 10 bomb arrows. It's just dumb. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what they were thinking. That's it. That's my major complaint. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. At first I was bummed that Korok seeds were back, but I'm like, well, oh, another minor complaint. Why do these people act like they don't know who Link is? There's people I talked to many times in the previous game, and they act like they don't know who Link is. That to me is just a weird, from a story standpoint, from a continuity standpoint. That's a weird oversight. There's some that do, but there's way too many who don't. Meat does do something. I mean, it doesn't do anything like you're going to be using, maybe. Yeah, and I miss the bombs. I miss just being able to throw bombs at stuff. That's, I guess, another minor complaint is the hold R and select an item to throw. It's just cumbersome as the arrows. So those are my two major complaints, but everything else is very minor. All the positives is like mind blowing combination of physics, crafting, puzzles, world level design, temple, boss fight. This feels like more like a Zelda game. Like this is the most Zelda feeling 3D Zelda game since Ocarina of Time for me. Breath of the Wild, best game ever, but if I had to be objective, yeah, it changed a lot. It didn't quite have that Zelda feel that a lot of people talked about. Um, Tears of the Kingdom feels way more like a Zelda game with Breath of the Wild DNA. Bomb arrows are way stronger than what? Oh, remote bombs. Um, yeah, that's funny that one guard once, but there's so many characters who don't know who Link is in this game, from the fairies to like major characters, major side characters, minor NPC characters. They should know. Um, but yeah, I'm just rambling here. I'm trying. I just lost where I was before, but it's all right. We're just gonna keep rolling. Just talking about the things I love. I love the new designs for the Zonai. The Zonai designs incredible. Ganondorf's designs perfect. I mean, couldn't be more perfect. Um, I guess another thing, it's not really a negative. I'm just having trouble finding bows to use. And I expanded my weapon slots, but I rarely have like more than two or three. That's a little something I haven't, and I haven't found the dude who lets you like save like creations and and bring those out. So I haven't been spending too much time making like too many vehicles. But yeah, I'm just jumping all over because I also want to talk about how I was saying about the combination of everything, the crafting. I was in the underground, the depths. I built a four-wheel drive with like I had like three batteries, and I was driving, put a headlight on it, and I'm driving over like the gloom. I had that thing for like 30 minutes. I kept finding more batteries at these different spots where there's items to build, and I found more batteries, and I was two tracking. Like the physics are so good. I was using techniques that people use when rock climbing to try to get so I could get up this hill and get over these bumps, and it worked. You know, the steering techniques worked for rock climbing. It was just crazy, and it was quite the experience. I didn't want to get rid of that thing. I was attached to it. I had two like sleds, not sleds, but two carts with the wheels, and then I found a bigger slab, and I put the big wheels on it. Had the control arm, batteries, and a headlight. It was amazing. It's the only way to travel. I also found some stall horses under there, and rode the same one for a long time. It helps you get over the gloom sections. There's some unique enemies down there that are never seen. Another thing that makes this more Zelda is bringing back likes. I guess I don't know, I forget what they're called. The dudes from Ocarina that would go hoo and scare you, and and then come up to you and creep on you. It looks like those are back because in one of the cut scenes it showed something that looked like those. The Lionels, I haven't defeated a Lionel yet. I've faced two white mane ones that are covered in rock armor, and then a blue horn one. And I thought I saw a red one, but it was across a crevasse, and I didn't get over there. I haven't taken on a Gleelock. I've seen them. I'm taking lots of photos. Another thing that's a slight disappointment is having to buy the same gear over, and it's super expensive, and there's no ore, so I'm having trouble like having money, rupees to buy stuff. I found some fallen or star fragments, which are 200 each. Sold those just so I could buy some warm clothes at the Rito village. It feels like a way harder game. I've died probably in my first 25 30 hours. I feel like I've died as many times in this stretch as in like my first 150 hours of Breath of the Wild. I've died a lot, and it just almost feels like a Souls game at times with the difficulty. Let me see. Philosophical, is that what that says, or psychological? Psychological differences with 5 skill versus 10 skill. 4 out of 5 doesn't sound bad, but they may have given it a 9. Yeah, 4 out of 5 to me, I don't understand that. And technically it's not an 8 out of 10, because I was talking about the review scores. 4 out of 5 is, if it doesn't have a half point system, that's basically a 9. That's what it should be. But still, I get back to the whole 8 out of 10. You just have to not like open world, not like exploration, not like puzzles, and just like I said, played through the main story. Appreciate it's a good game, but it's not your thing. There's no way this is an 8 out of 10. I've seen people like straight face saying that Horizon's Forbidden West is a better game. I've had even rare ore deposits even give me flint and opals. Yeah, and even the luminous stones are only 30 rupees now instead of 70, and you barely have any. So it's just hard to mine or farm rupees. It's hard to get money to buy stuff. I have plenty of arrows until I just did a whole long section underground, and then there was a boss fight which used a lot of arrows. I replayed the same boss fight in the underground as I did in the first temple I did. So, uh, yeah, like I'm jumping all over the place. I know it. Just trying to go off the top of my head. Uh, Returning characters. I was talking about the designs. I love the designs. I love Pura. She's she made herself young and now she's old. Well, she's like 20 something. Let's see. Where's the so Rauru looks amazing. Hetsu looks the same. Yunobo looks the same. Teba looks the same. Tulin's cool though. He's older. Paya, she's a little bit different, but Impa got some new characters. Robbie still looks awesome, but Pura, she looks good. Let me just say, um, some of the new like the Zonai enemies, kind of they're not like that varied, but overall, man, they just how did they do it? 6 years. Now we know what it took so long. There's so many systems in play here. There's so many scenarios. There's so many ways you could with the sky where you can just come from so many different angles so easily. Oh, man, it blows my mind that they put all this into a game. Like Clocked said, like this how is a game this good? Like how did they do it? I've noticed a few little like Kakariko Village. That's the first time I noticed like frame rate dips. And modern vintage gamer proved that just an overclock to the RAM is all it takes to lock it to 30, and it's not even that much of an overclock. I think it's like it's like 500 megahertz, which you can only do if you have a what do you call it unpatched switch, which I sold mine. I kind of wish I had it because even in docked you can run that. Um, yeah, Brian, I have a couple times. Once wasn't intentional. I jumped to a thing to take a photograph of something and the ground fell out. And I was like, well, I'll just ride this down. And then I was like, oh, we're going into a chasm. I also followed something else down into a chasm. That was like one of the coolest moments in gaming history for me. It was so epic and unexpected. And then like I shot at it and then something came off it. And I was like, oh, that's lost. I'll never find that. And I was down about 10 minutes later in the depths. And I saw the sparkling thing. Like, what the hell is that? There was the thing. I was like, are you kidding me? How, like, that was like at the very top outside. And it fell all the way through the depths and landed on the ground and was still there. It was amazing. So, yeah. Some other cool stuff. The labyrinth. I did one labyrinth. That was cool. They must have had a whole team like, all right, we have 4 labyrinths. We want you guys to think of something to do with those. And the one I did was like, holy crap. Like this could have been a game in itself. It was so cool. That was that I don't want to go into details. I'll just say it was really cool. I mean, it's not like major spoiler or anything, but it was just really well done. Which makes me think of some of the new enemies. Like I said, I didn't face the Gleelocks, but the hand things, I'm 0 for 4 against those guys. I just run now, try to get to high ground. I've not found a way to defeat them. They're like the Guardians times 10. Like I barely do any damage. It's crazy. Can't wait to someday where I'm just like taking them out like nothing. But at this point, they're killing me. I love the taking the like a hot air balloon. I guess one other negative, and I can see why they did it, is the hot air balloon in the wing glider. After a certain amount of time, it starts flashing and it disappears because otherwise you'd be limitless. It's like, come on, like I felt like that's a little too short. You can catch a shooting star before it's the ground. The ones I've seen all hit so far away, and it's like right before dawn, and it's like it's a race to get there. I've gotten three, but I missed like three more. Yeah, those hands are a problem. Yeah, I seen like I said, I seen somebody trying to say like um, Forbidden West is a better game, and then somebody's like, "Oh, look at, I can't believe this is a actual game and not a CG." I'm like, "Yeah." Some people they think better looking visuals, more realistic visuals, automatically equals a better game. I have 87 hours in Forbidden West. I love that game. It's not even close. It's not even a discussion. You caught four hot like no way, dude. There's no way. They land so far away. There's no way. I don't believe you. Um, but yeah, Forbidden West. It's not even a discussion. They're not even in the same league. Forbidden West is a really solid, great action, open world adventure game with some really good story and beautiful visuals and fun stuff to do. It's not even close. Like Tears of the Kingdom um, is so far beyond, is from a game development standpoint, from things you can do. Like, did you guys see like somebody made like a mech, like a giant mech, and then it actually functions? Like, how? How'd they do it? Nintendo put the systems in there. I could barely make a freaking cart on wheels to pull behind my horse. It's just incredible. It just feels almost like a Minecraft game at times. It's just crazy, but at the same time, it feels more Zelda than I think anything since Ocarina of Time. So it's crazy to me. I love the whole mechanic with mechanic when you find memories. It's done through the geoglyphs, and I think that's a really clever way. And there's way more cinematic prowess going on here. The cinematics are a big step up in writing and quality. I think they saw Age of Calamity and said, "All right, we got to step the game up." So I just love that the whole geoglyphs thing. They get up in the sky, and it's just, oh, that's a master sword. That's what that is. From the ground, I couldn't tell. From the sky, I could. Um, when just jumping from a skyline, naturally, sometimes a star will shoot right beside you. Huh. I, I've never really, like I said, I've only spent a small amount of time in the sky, so uh, I don't know. Maybe that'll happen. That's cool though. I've the blood moons come way sooner. I think way more often. There was once where I don't even think I killed an enemy between blood moons, and they just come at a standard pace. I think because I thought it was based on how many enemies you killed, but yeah, those happen. I tried the Japanese voice acting. Um, I lasted about 2 minutes. I'm sorry. Like, that's just not the characters I know. Maybe if that's the only way I played Breath of the Wild, but I'm like, that's not Tiba. Like, that's not his voice. I know his voice, so I had to switch back to English. I don't mind. I haven't heard anything bad. I really like a couple of them. Just wish there was more voice acting. There's times where it cuts from voice acting to reading. I'm like, this is still strong dialogue. This should still be voice acted in my opinion, but um, small complaint, I guess. I love that the stables are back. I love that there's a system where rewards where you get rewarded for going to stables for sleeping in the soft bed, whatever it's called now. It's named after the horse god. Um, that's a cool system. It gave me an extra slot for more horses to register. So I love that. Side quests have been pretty fun so far. Um, Supposed to be every 3 days. I thought someone said it was the blood moon was just to reset the enemies because it can't keep track of how many enemies you killed. But who knows? Oh, what else? I mean, just I stressed it already, but I want to re-stress how different Hyrule is. It's just crazy how different it is. I couldn't believe it. But I did go to Goron City. I didn't do I mean, I didn't do the temple, but I got everything before the temple done. There's an interesting story going on there. It Like I said, I feel like they've condensed the game secretly. They try to make it think like it's the same size, but I think they've condensed, and that was another situation that felt like that. But everything is just so different. Where'd the divine beasts go? Like they don't exist anymore. The old shrines are gone. I went to the top of um, maybe it showed them going under the ground. At the end of Breath of the Wild. It's been a while since I beat it. I went to the top of Dueling Peaks, and it didn't look the same, and there was no sign of a shrine up there. The Blood Moon does reset things, but there is a set amount of days. So, other than that, I mean, the game's amazing. It's just, I think it's gonna be my new best game of all time. It's already heading that way. Story wise, it's way stronger. That opening, oh man, Ganon. I was surprised how quickly he like had power and took out the Master Sword, but that was awesome. And then finding the memories, I found memory 2, 3, and 4, and then it was like 10 and 15, so it does jump out of order. Some cool stuff going on. I can't wait to see the rest. I don't want to rush through it, but it's hard for me not to. If I see a glyph, it's hard for me not to go see the memory. I keep telling myself like I want to go to the desert. I want to go see Riju, and get her as a companion or something. And I just keep getting distracted. I want to go to the Akala region. I want to go to Robbie's so he can activate my shrine sensor. And I just keep getting distracted. What happens? So this is like a typical hour and a half, 2 hours for me. Oh, there's a tower. Let me go up in the sky and look. And then I go up sky. Oh, let me land on the archipelago or whatever. And let me do this. Oh, let me do that shrine. Let me glide down. And I was like, all right, well, let me go into the chasm. I'll go into the chasm, go underground. I'm underground for like 40 minutes trying to find the, what are they called? Light roots. I come back up. I found an exit. All right, I'm pretty far away. Let's see. Where's the nearest thing I should be doing? Oh, there's a shrine. Go do the shrine. And then it's like, all right, well, I got to make my way back to a stable so I can get my horse back. And then I'm like, oh, that's right. That's where I was. There's where my horse is. And I'm like, damn, I just went so far, so like covered so much ground just from launching up in that tower and skydiving somewhere. And it's just like, man, I mean, I'm trying to remember like my first playthrough of Breath of the Wild. I know a lot of that, but Breath of the Wild didn't have the caves, didn't have the underground, didn't have the sky. So it's like there's so many extra ways to get distracted, and it's just unbelievable. Yeah, I don't have the sensor unlocked, and I haven't even gone to the Akla region once. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know if it's still a fall, if it's still like the cool fall colors or autumn colors. I would be surprised if it was actually, but yeah, it's just there's so much to talk about. The sunsets look a little bit different. The cloud system is cool, but I think it was a little overhyped. It's not a game changer for me. I don't think it does really. I don't think it adds as much as I thought it was going to because I'm spending so much time on the ground. So, but yeah, another thing I would say is when I don't have my horse, I am like struggling. I hate games with stamina systems where you have to like run for a little bit, let go. Like that's this Elden Ring was like, hey, if you're not near an enemy, you can sprint forever. That was such a cool addition to that series that when I'm not on my horse and I'm just like, this is so tedious going on foot. Yeah, you can make a 4-wheel drive. I don't have the ability to just summon a creation though, so I got to find a spot that actually has the wheels and have batteries. I have batteries on me, but I don't have as many as I would need to like do that very often. And I got to be on a horse. It's just the only way to travel for me. I feel like I said earlier, level design has made it so horseback is something you don't have to get off your horse very often. Just being on foot, man, I just feel like my thumb gets sore because I'm pressing that up on the stick so hard because I'm like, all right, you're so slow, like let's go. So yeah, I would like to see them just like if you're just running across the fields, just let me have unlimited stamina and have stamina when I'm in combat or when I'm climbing or sailing or gliding, and just let me run. That would help with that. But other than that, I mean, what else can I say? I mean, I don't know if I'll buy another Switch game this year. Maybe Pikmin 4. I don't know what else is coming out. Obviously, the Switch is the popularity isn't diminished. This is one of the highest selling Nintendo games of all time in opening 3 days. I remember when like 2 million was a big deal for a Nintendo game in the opening 3 days. Like we're talking 10. It's crazy. So are they gonna hit us with a new 3D Mario game this year? Like I don't know. Honestly, don't know. I wouldn't be surprised no matter if there's a new system this holiday. I wouldn't be surprised if there's just 3D Mario, Metroid Prime 4, Mario Kart 9. There's nothing would surprise me at this point. And I just know that I'll finish with this. They said, Anuma said that they're going to continue with this style Zelda game moving forward. Now that's cool, but at the same time, I would hate for this to become like the Ocarina of Time situation where it's like, oh, it's the same formula every game, like you can say, well, look at you just said it's like the best game you ever played and it's the same formula, but you can't just keep outdoing yourself. How many times do I need to collect Korok seeds to expand my weapon slots in every game? Like, am I cool with that? I don't know. I guess I'd have to see. Do I want to have to go into 120 shrines in every game? I don't know. I will say these shrines, I haven't found a shrine that I would consider even maybe 30% of the biggest shrine in Breath of the Wild. I haven't found any like large shrines, but I do find them visually way more appealing and the puzzles way straighter to the point, and I enjoy them. But do I need shrines every game? Do I need a memory, like a story told through memories system in the next game? Or could we just have a current story? I don't know, It's weird. Like I'd hate for them to like get in a box, even though it's such a huge box with two of the best games ever made, and probably the third one would be the same, but at the same time, I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you feel about this formula? Do you want to see 4 games with the same formula, or do you think it'd be time do 2 and then do something try to be more creative with changing up how you upgrade your weapons or slots, or don't take away my weapon slots, Like, I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't really thought about it, but it'd be interesting. Let's see. You need to get into third-party indie games, as there's an insane amount of games coming out this. I've been saying I don't need another game. I'll be playing this for most of this year. That's what I was saying. And I don't need to do a damn thing, man. Indie games. How many indie games are there? How many indie games are there that look amazing? You see them in 3-4 indie worlds. They come out. No one talks about them. You never hear from them again. And, I guess it's okay. It's a good game. It's an okay game. How many of those games come out and they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is incredible. Like, how many Hollow Knights have there been? How many Stardew Valleys has there been where it's just super popular? Not just super popular, but super good. Like, really good. There's just so many indie games, and it's just like swimming in the ocean, like there's just so much around. There's just so much you just get lost. That's a bad analogy, but it's like, yeah, if somebody says, hey, this game's amazing, another person, hey, this game's amazing, yeah, I'm gonna check it out. But there's just so many games, it's just ridiculous, and a lot of them are just spiritual successors to other games that, you know, established good games, and they're just kind of riding the coattails kind of situation. Hey, this is like a link to the past. I forget what Tunic was it? Nah, I don't think it was Tunic. There's another game that was like very linked to the past, but either way, um, yeah, I guess that's all I got. So let me know in the comments if you feel like it. You know, speaking of the formula, do you want this for more games? And what could they do different? Like, do you want them to go to a top down like Link's Awakening, Link to the Past, Link Between Worlds, Zelda game in between? Do you want more ports or more remasters or remakes? Like, I mean, you can't be waiting 6 years for Zelda games, and they obviously put out other stuff in between. But to me, 6 years, get another same form in the same formula. I'm like I said, probably be the third top three best games of all time will all be the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom in the third game. But at the same time, what could they do different? So I don't know. I have to think about it. Now I'm talking more than just mass appeal. I'm talking about a high quality game that comes out and it's like, this is a must play. Not a, yeah, this is a 7.5. Yeah, this is an 8. Those games don't interest me. I'm not looking to just play middle of the road games that are probably fun. That's just not my goal. My goal is to play the top best games for me every year. And whether they're made by Nintendo, Sony, doesn't matter. Microsoft, if it was Forza Horizon 4 in 2018, that was my number 2 game of the year. You know, like, I just want to play the best games, the top games. I'm not looking to play as many games as possible. It's never been my goal. I have no desire to try to play as many games as possible. I try to play a good amount, at least 20 games, new games for that year, so I can do a top 5. Try to get 5 to 7 is usually the target, 7 to 8, and then play some older games. Like, I'm gonna start Sekiro here pretty soon. I still got to start Darksiders 2, and then but Tears of the Kingdom is gonna last me for a while, and I don't even like Pikmin 4. Maybe I'll pick that up, but maybe that's strange to you. But I'm just looking to play not the top reviewed games. Don't get me wrong. Not the games that everybody gives a high score to. I'm talking about the games for me that would be like a 9, 9.5, or 10. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for 8s. I'm not looking for 7s. To me, that's just not worth my time. I got too many other things to do. Yeah, I'm sure Fell Seal is probably a good game for you. But great games rise to the top. They don't get good games can get overshadowed by other games, but if a game's amazing, it'll rise to the top at some point. Like Hollow Knight, it didn't take long for that game to get talked about by multiple people that I know, and I got to play that game. I also feel like there will be a demand for traditional Zelda solving dungeons. I mean, maybe. I don't see going back to, hey, you get the compass, you get the map in this dungeon, you get the item, you use the item to defeat the boss. I don't, other than like for a retro nostalgia feel, I don't see them doing that moving forward. To me, that's a tired design philosophy. I think it is. You disagree, that's fine. I don't ever want to do that again. Like, unless they could find just like this amazing way to do it. I just love the variety. I like being able to play a game how I want to play it, and other people can play it how they want to play it. Like, you could do just shooting from a distance. You could build an elemental weapon, or you can get close combat. You can do two-handed. You can do one-handed for flurry rush, perfect guard, or you can just spam attacks and heal up, use a bunch of healing items, and just get through fights. Like, there's so many ways to play it, so many ways to experience the game. And I think going back to a more linear style, just it's not for me. Maybe with the top down style, it would work better. I don't know. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. It's getting past 8 already, so yeah, been on for an hour. Um, but I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let's see, just put old dungeons in new game. The old 3D Zelda can take a deserved rest. Just put the old dungeons in new games. I don't want, like I just said, I don't want that old formula. That old worked at the time. I don't think it should. I just don't know, like, how do you top that? Like, said that about Breath of the Wild, but now I really feel like it's a true state. How do you top Tears of the Kingdom now? Like, story wise, I feel like there's gotta be some kind of come to a conclusion. Do you just jump to a completely different story but use the same style, create a whole new Hyrule, but have it be open world, open air, complete freedom? I don't know. I think that's almost what they'd have to do. I want to feel like I'm in a strange new land. Um, but it's so crazy because you're just saying that. I'm almost like I almost feel sad. I don't want to leave this Hyrule. But you could leave, you could get outside Hyrule. You could use the mechanics and the systems of the game and go outside Hyrule. I don't know if I want that. I don't know. Like I keep saying, I don't know. I don't know what I want. I didn't envy them for having to come up with this game, follow up Breath of the Wild. I really don't envy them having to come up with the next game. Because it's sad thinking of not being in this Hyrule anymore. But it's also exciting to think about like a completely new experience with no familiarity like Breath of the Wild was, just completely new on a new system with like the next level of visuals they'll come up with. Look what they did on the Switch. Imagine what they could do on like PS5. Like, and you're like, oh well, the Switch can do it. They don't need the PS5. Well, you with at least a better, like a significantly improved CPU, it would unlock so much more potential for the creation, for the physics, and all that. They could really go like to the next level with stuff, and it's just as somebody who appreciates like high fidelity, just take this art style, run it at native 4K 60 FPS with amazing lighting. You don't got to do anything else, you know. Just that's it for me. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks you guys for tuning in. Get back to playing Zelda. I'm gonna take a break. Like my back's just hurt from sitting here, so I gotta find something to do other than sitting playing video games for the rest of the night. So with that, we didn't do the podcast because Terrell barely started it. Retro didn't want to do it because he didn't want to be spoiled. Clocked it. He was so into the game. He didn't want, it's like no one wanted to stop playing it. It was just going to be me and T because Robert, I forget why he didn't want to do it. He thinks he should wait. So next week, we're going to be on and then get the guys' thoughts